Healing Family. I wanted to do a series and kind of even just get your feedback about some ideas I've had on brain retraining for children. And I've had so many questions about, do you have meditation rounds specifically to work with kids? Do you have videos for them? Do you have specific scripts? Is your program designed with children in mind? And honestly, no. I mean, my program has always been designed for adults, but I think a lot of the science applies to kids. It's how do we deliver it in a way that kids are receptive to it. And with my daughter struggling now with more chronic illness and pain issues and recovering from an injury, I've been really kind of contemplating, like, what should that look like? Like, how do we deliver this to kids? There are so many kids in need of the same limbic system tools that we use for ourselves, but the delivery has to be different. And I found so many awesome resources online, but nothing that really integrates it all together in that package of brain retraining for children. And I think the most important thing I keep coming back to is it has to start with us. It has to start with their parents, their guardians, their teachers, their doctors, using positive language, using positive framing and reframing of thoughts and beliefs and identities. Because we do not want children over-identifying with their illness, just like we don't want ourselves to. And so many of the principles of brain retraining, we have to fully embody ourselves first before we can utilize those to help our children that may be struggling. And so the top 3 things that I really think we have to focus on are, number 1, modeling our own nervous system regulation for our children that are struggling. And I think that this is actually an additional layer of difficulty because a lot of children, when they're struggling with pain or illness, they don't have the emotional maturity and the vocabulary to explain what's going on with them. So a lot of stuff comes out as behaviors. It comes out as, refusing to do certain tasks or having meltdowns or just struggling with their emotional reactivity to things. And it is so easy for that to get mislabeled as attention seeking or bad or ADHD or neurodivergent or a troublemaker or oppositional defiant. And how many of these kids does it then later turn out have Lyme or pandas from strep, or they have some kind of pain condition or EDS or something that's making them feel really crummy, and it's coming out in their emotions because they don't have the ability to explain to us what's really going on. So I think number 1 is emotionally how we receive what our children are trying to tell us in an unspoken voice, and then how we model for them, how we react to them, and trying to keep our own cool, keeping our own nervous system regulated, keeping ourselves in a parasympathetic state so that when they are reactive and they are, on our last nerve, we can approach them with compassion and we can model for them, that when we're upset, this is how we calm ourselves down, whether that's just 5 deep breaths or teaching them box breathing or giving them a big squeeze and telling them to put that nice heavy blanket on, and we should do this together. Let's put our blankets on together. Let me give you a cuddle. Let's breathe together. This is going to pass. This feeling doesn't last forever. But we have to be able to be in a state where we can do that. And I think that's the number 1 thing. And that's why you can't just jump into saying, oh, here's a brain retrain program for kids. Just like give them this video, give them this book, they'll be better. And that's what's hard about being a parent and dealing with children, is you have to do the work yourself if you're going to help your children to learn these skills and follow these programs. I would say that the second biggest thing is finding the right team. Like I said, I think misdiagnosis is huge with children. I don't think we give children enough credit for what they're going through. There's a lot of doctors who are dismissive about a lot of childhood illnesses, especially chronic illness in children, that are very dismissive of Lyme and Epstein-Barr and PANS and PANDAS and EDS and so many other things, even autism spectrum, genetic mutations, detox pathways that just aren't working correctly and leading to all of these pretty intense symptoms. And kids are feeling miserable and we write it off and we over-medicate and we misdiagnose or we overdiagnose. And so being an advocate for your child to get the right specialist, to get the right diagnoses, to go not only the Western route, but then to get second opinions from the functional doctors, the holistic doctors. And I get that there are quacks out there. I'm not saying to just go out and buy every program and see every single specialist that thinks that they know what they're talking about, but making sure that you're digging deeper. You're not just taking that first dismissive answer from a provider when it is your child, and if they don't seem to be getting better, making sure that you dig and you research. Now, this is not the same as spiraling and obsessing over symptoms and all the stuff we talk about in brain retraining that's not good. This is just making sure you are doing everything you can as a parent to work around the broken system that we're dealing with, and making sure that part of the exploration of getting the right diagnosis and the right treatment includes finding holistic ways, or just knowing that there are holistic ways to help your children manage their symptoms, including brain retraining, limbic system regulation, getting them involved in physical activity, getting them out in nature, getting them off the screen time, getting them off of video games, getting them more involved with their peers, knowing that there's alternatives to school. If school is a big trigger for them, not just with bullying and these crazy expectations we have on kids and messing up their sleep schedule, but there's a lot of sick buildings with mold and chemicals. Homeschooling is an option. Like, making sure that you are exhausting every option for your child, and that you are doing what feels right for you and your family, and not just letting one provider kind of bully you into doing things a certain way, getting other professionals involved. I think the number 3 biggest thing is meeting our kids where they're at and trying a number of different skills, right? I think as adults, what I love about working with adults is adults are willing to try a lot of things. We'll kind of say, oh, like, I know that meditation is supposed to be good for me. It feels boring. Let me try a different meditation today. Like, can you give me some other videos on breath work? I'll try some more breath work, even though I don't like it. We can push through a little bit. And sometimes that's really helpful. Sometimes it's helpful that we have that emotional maturity to push through something that doesn't feel super fun because we know it's good for us. Kids struggle with that. If you try to teach a kid some kind of advanced Kundalini breath work and a slow restorative yoga class, it doesn't matter what they're dealing with. They're going to say, this is dumb. This is boring. I want to stand on my head and do cartwheels over here. So you really have to meet them where they're at, and you might have to go through many different iterations of finding an activity or multiple activities that do help regulate their nervous system. So I really love Cosmic Kids Yoga. She's another YouTuber that has been around forever. My daughter's done her videos for years. She has this knack for teaching kids yoga, making it fun, making it accessible, making it into a game, which I think is great. I don't quite have that gift with children. I've always taught adults, and even for my own daughter, yes, I'm a yoga teacher. She would rather do the Cosmic Kids Yoga than do mommy's yoga, and that's fine, right? But finding other things to regulate. So maybe for a child, we have to realize that the same skills aren't always applicable. For a child, meditation isn't going to look like the meditation that we might be able to push ourselves to do. For a child, if we can encourage them to get a little nature kit with binoculars and a nature journal and be like, just go outside. We're going to walk around this park. We're going to look for the birds on this little checklist. Here's a nature book. Every time we see a different bird or a different kind of rock or a different kind of animal or a fish, we're going to look it up in this book. We're going to draw it. We're going to color it. You're engaging all of their senses, and you're bringing them into a state of mindfulness of their surroundings. You're putting them in nature. They're getting the photonicides and the grounding from being out in nature. So they are getting the same benefit, but you have to make it fun. You have to make it engaging. You have to engage all of their brain and their little body to get them bought into these skills. So I do want to explore more how I think children can benefit from brain retraining and how to make brain retraining more accessible for children, as we see an increase in children with health issues, unfortunately, in our country, around the world. I want to think of ways that we can incorporate this for people that are, searching. A lot of people from my channel, because they're searching holistic ways to heal pain, holistic ways to heal chronic illness, how to recover from chronic illness, how to heal your limbic system. And I get questions about now kids, so people are searching how to help my kid heal holistically, how to get kids to regulate their nervous system. But again, I think it starts with us as parents. It starts with us being able to model those skills to find ways that we can stay regulated so that then I can apply that to just co-regulation with my child, right? Just polyvagal theory, just the science of polyvagal theory alone is basically going to say that if I can regulate and I can be in a good state and I'm having these constant positive social interactions with my kids and I'm engaging with them and I'm helping them to co-regulate, that alone is going to help their nervous system feel calm. That's actually probably the most important foundation, is your child knowing that they're in a safe environment with a safe parent who's emotionally available, who's working on their own healing, who's able to hold space for them with compassion. And I think that's the number one takeaway that I want to make in this video and in the future is it starts with us. There is no quick fix. There's not going to be some book or video that's like, here, just show your kid, have them do this. They're going to be fixed. We need to be active participants in that, which I think also steers away from that Western model of a lot of people looking for a quick fix. So many kids just on pharmaceuticals and just in these school programs where we kind of outsource what we think is going to help them when really they need their parents to be there for them and to show up authentically and heal their own trauma and their own nervous system in order to help their child heal. So I want to work more on that. If you guys have any specific questions on what you think would help, if you have children that are struggling or what would have helped you as a child when you were struggling, I'm more than happy to brainstorm different ways to bring that into our healing community here and to make that more accessible so that we can change more lives. And I think the earlier we can intervene when someone's struggling, the less likely it is to turn into a chronic illness state as they get older. So I hope that this was helpful. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Please subscribe, please hit the like button. We are working to, grow this channel organically so I can reach more people and offer as many resources for healing as I can, as I also am on my healing journey as well as my family. And seeing all the positive stories from all of you and hearing that it is helpful is just so nourishing for my own soul and my own journey, and it motivates me to keep doing the work I'm doing and pushing to do more. So I hope you are all having an amazing week and you all have some wonderful healing and do something nice for yourself today, and I will be back soon.